The world you knew is gone, vanished with a slow, creeping silence. The hum of traffic faded. Distant sirens went quiet. The lights flickered and plunged your neighborhood into darkness. Now the only sounds are the wind, a stray dog, your heartbeat. This is the new reality, a world stripped bare. Every sunset brings fear. The comfort of your home is replaced by awareness. You are a guardian over everything you hold dear. You are on your own. The silence is a liar. A gunshot cuts through the stillness. The storm is gathering, and your home is in its path. Prepare for the arrival of the hungry, the lawless, and the wicked. The time for action is now. Your survival depends on the choices you make. Forget everything you thought you knew about safety. The social contract has been torn to shreds. The laws that once protected your property and your life are now just ghost stories, whispered memories of a time long past. In this new world, there is only one law that matters, the law of survival. It is a brutal, unforgiving code written not in books but in blood and desperation. The polite society you were a part of has dissolved, leaving behind a raw, primal struggle for resources. Your neighbor is no longer just your neighbor. They are a potential competitor, or worse, a potential threat. Trust is a luxury you can no longer afford. The thin veneer of civilization was always more fragile than we believed. It took only a few days without power, without food on the shelves, without a dial tone, for it to crack and shatter completely. Now the predators walk freely among the prey. They are not monsters from some horror film. They are ordinary people, driven to extraordinary lengths by hunger and fear. They are your former coworkers, the person you stood behind in the grocery line, now hollowed out by desperation. They see your home not as a private residence, but as a cache of supplies, a treasure chest waiting to be cracked open. Your moral compass will be tested. The instincts that told you to be kind, to be helpful, to be a good neighbor, are now liabilities. Hesitation can be fatal. Showing weakness is an invitation for attack. You must unlearn a lifetime of civility and embrace a harder mindset. This is not about becoming a monster. It is about recognizing the monsters at your door and knowing that you must be more prepared, more ruthless, and more determined than they are. The world is now divided into two simple groups, the wolves and the sheep. You must decide which one you will be, because the wolves are coming. This is a war, and your front lawn is the battlefield. It is a quiet war, fought in the shadows and the dead of night. There will be no declarations, no treaties, and no surrenders. The enemy is decentralized, unpredictable, and operating under a single, simple motive: to take what you have. They will test your defenses, probe for weaknesses, and watch for any sign of vulnerability. Your every action or inaction sends a signal. The goal is no longer to live comfortably, it is simply to live through the night, and the night after that. The old rules are gone. It is time to learn the new ones. Look around you. This is your castle, your bunker, the last line of defense between your family and the chaos outside. Every window, every door, every hallway is now a strategic point in a defensive perimeter. Stop seeing your home as a living space and start seeing it as a fortress. Identify and harden its weaknesses. Understand and leverage its strengths. This structure is the single most important asset you have in this fight for survival. Walk through every room and see it through the eyes of someone who wants to get in. The transformation from home to fortress is about function and survival. It is about layers of defense designed to slow down, deter, and defeat an attacker. It must buy you precious time to react and fight back. Your home must send a clear message. This is not an easy target. In the world that is coming, your home will be either your tomb or your fortress. The work begins now. The threat has a face, a name, and might even be someone you recognize. Forget the Hollywood image. The real danger is far more human and cunning. The people coming for you fall into distinct categories. First, the opportunists. Petty criminals who see chaos as a golden opportunity to loot. Next, the desperate, ordinary people who failed to prepare, driven by a gnawing need to survive. Then, the organized groups, gangs or former military, the most dangerous of all, operating with a plan. Finally, the lone wolf. A predator in the truest sense, driven by a desire for dominance and cruelty, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. To defeat your enemy, you gotta understand how they think. The psychology of a person in a survival situation is a fragile and volatile thing. It's a mind stripped of all its modern comforts and thrown back into a primal state. The primary driver isn't happiness, career, or social standing anymore. It's a pyramid of needs that's been reduced to its foundation: food, water, and shelter. When these basic needs aren't met, the human mind starts to break down. Logic gives way to instinct. Long-term planning gets replaced by a desperate focus on just the next few hours. This is the mindset of the person who'll be testing your door. Fear is their constant companion, but it shows itself in different ways. For some, fear makes them cautious, skittish, and likely to run at the first sign of real opposition. For others, fear mixes with adrenaline and anger, creating a hyper-aggressive state. They believe that the best defense is a brutal, overwhelming offense. They'll scream, they'll break things, they'll try to intimidate you into submission because deep down, they're terrified. They're afraid of starving, they're afraid of the dark, and they're afraid of what they're becoming. You've got to learn to tell the difference between the fearful opportunist and the fear-driven aggressor. They'll justify what they do by dehumanizing you. In their mind, you're not a person anymore. You're not a father, a mother, or a child. You're just an obstacle. You're a hoarder who's unfairly keeping resources from folks who need them more. They'll repeat this story to themselves, over and over, just to quiet their conscience. By stripping you of your humanity, it makes it a whole lot easier for them to do inhuman things. They'll see your lights on and think, look at them, living in comfort while we suffer. That resentment fuels their resolve and gives them the moral permission they need to break down your door and take what's yours. You need to understand that they're operating on a risk versus reward calculation. Is the potential reward inside your home worth the risk of getting hurt or killed? That's the only question that matters to them. They're not thinking about the law. They're not thinking about morality. They're thinking about their empty stomachs and the risk of a confrontation. Every defensive measure you take is meant to change that calculation. You gotta increase the perceived risk to a point where the potential reward just isn't worth it. Your goal is to make them look at your home and decide that the cost of entry is just too high to pay. Predators don't pick at random, they hunt for the weakest, most vulnerable homes. They scan for signs, overgrown yards, empty driveways, piled up mail, anything that screams, no one's home. They watch routines, looking for predictable patterns and moments of complacency. Even subtle marks on fences can signal a target to others. Their goal, high resources, low resistance. Your job? Make your home look unpredictable, occupied, and tough. Don't be the softest target on the block. It starts with a knock or a plea for help, a test of your compassion and caution. Don't answer. Any response gives away your numbers, your mood, your readiness. If ignored, they escalate. Louder knocks, threats, intimidation. Stay silent. No negotiation, no engagement. Have a plan observation point, safe room, defensive position. Your silence is a weapon. It breeds uncertainty in them. The less they know, the more they fear. Never open the door, ever. Think of your home as a fortress, defense in layers. Start at the property line. Fences, thorny bushes, clear sight lines. Next, the perimeter. Eliminate cover, add gravel paths for noise. Harden the shell-reinforced doors, windows, and vents. Inside, create choke points and a strong room for last-stand defense. Every layer should slow, expose, and frustrate attackers. If one fails, another stands ready. Time is your greatest ally. Make every second count. Your front door is your biggest vulnerability. Fix it. Replace short screws with 3-inch steel ones, upgrade to solid core or steel doors. Install grade 1 deadbolts and reinforce lock areas with metal plates. Treat every entry front-back garage the same. Secure sliding doors with bars or dowels, add security film or interior gates. Use door jammers or barricades for final reinforcement. A strong door buys you precious time. Don't let your entryway be your downfall. Windows are weak points. Make them hard to break and loud to breach. Install robust locks, but reinforce glass with security film. Security film keeps glass together, forcing noisy, time-consuming entry. Add bars or grills for visible deterrents or pre-cut plywood for emergencies. Don't neglect small windows. Secure every pane. Consistency is key. One weak window is all it takes. Harden every opening. Make your home a uniform shell. One breach is all an attacker needs. Don't give it to them. In a world without power, light is a weapon, but it cuts both ways. A lit house is a beacon for desperate people. Control what others see. Achieve total light discipline. No light should escape your fortress after dark. Blackout curtains are mandatory. Your house should look dark, empty, and uninviting. This is your first line of camouflage. Use light to your advantage to control the area around your home. Motion-activated floodlights are invaluable. Place them strategically to illuminate key areas and blind spots. When an intruder's movement suddenly floods a dark area with light, It has a powerful psychological effect. Inside, operate in the dark. Bright lights ruin your night vision. Rely on low-level, non-electric lighting. When you need a flashlight, use one with a red filter. This strategy of obscurity and controlled light creates a tactical advantage. You are the hidden predator watching from the shadows. This imbalance of information and vision is a powerful force multiplier. Master the use of light and darkness, and you master your immediate environment. The best fight is the one you never have to fight. Your early warning systems are designed to avoid a fight altogether. You need to know they are coming long before they touch your door. The simplest alarm system is a dog. Beyond a canine alarm, you can create a perimeter of simple, low-tech noisemakers. These are tripwire alarms placed in strategic locations. Connect a line to empty tin cans, a small bell, or anything that will make a distinct clatter when the wire is tripped. The sudden, unexpected noise will startle an intruder and give you an immediate indication of where the threat is located. You must also have designated observation posts where you can safely and discreetly observe your property. Finally, consider a listening post. A simple baby monitor can be placed outside in a concealed location. It extends your hearing out into your perimeter, giving you that crucial extra minute of warning. These layers of early warning are what turn your fortress into a proactive defensive system. Your fortress is hardened, alarms are set. Now become ghosts within your own walls. The goal is to make any intruder believe the house is empty and abandoned. This is a mental discipline, a way of life that must be practiced. Every movement must be deliberate and quiet, every word whispered. The enemy is listening for a cough, a crying child, the scrape of a chair. These sounds will get you killed. Erase them. Learn to move with a hunter's tread, rolling your foot from heel to toe to minimize noise. Identify every creaky floorboard and avoid it. Doors will be closed gently. The casual noises of daily life are a luxury you can no longer afford. Your home is now a soundstage, and your performance is one of absolute silence. Minimize the clues you are giving to the predators outside. Waste disposal becomes a critical security task. Empty food cans and wrappers are intelligence for the enemy. All trash must be stored, burned, or buried in a way that leaves no trace. Becoming a ghost means leaving no footprint. Sound is your enemy. In a collapsed world, sound travels in unimaginable ways. Eliminate every potential source of noise within your fortress. Start with the doors. Apply oil to every hinge until they swing open silently. Next, manage the sounds your family makes. Explain the importance of the quiet game. It's not punishment, it's safety. Have quiet activities prepared. For infants, have a plan for soothing them without letting them cry. Consider outside sounds. Train your family to remain still and silent. Observe, listen, and process without reacting audibly. Silence is a shield. Learn to use sound as a weapon. Creating a sound can be a tactical choice. Understanding sound in your environment is a key survival skill. Control it completely. When early warnings are triggered, execute the next level of stealth. Hiding. Designate a safe room, a concealed location stocked with necessities. The door must be solid and barricaded if possible. The goal is that intruders overlook this space. This is your family's last bastion. You are the sentinel with a tactical advantage. Observe without being seen. Gather intelligence. Do not engage unless necessary. Master your fear, control your breathing, and protect your family. Hiding is a tactical decision. Survival is about the discipline of a daily routine. Your silent routine is the framework that keeps you safe. This routine must be designed around stealth and security. Sleep should be done in shifts, with someone always on watch, especially between midnight and 4 a.m. Daily tasks must be conducted with minimal signature. Every movement has a purpose. Communication must be part of this routine. Develop a system of simple hand signals. This silent communication allows you to coordinate your actions without alerting anyone outside. This silent routine is your new normal, but it is what will keep you alive. Complacency is the true enemy. You must fight it with discipline. When the locks fail and the barricades break, the fight is coming. At this moment, your will to survive must be backed by a weapon. A firearm is the great equalizer. Choosing the right one is the most important decision you will make. The ideal home defense firearm is a 12-gauge pump-action shotgun. It is brutally effective at close range. The sound of a shotgun slide being racked is a universal language. Loaded with buckshot, it creates a devastating pattern that is hard to miss. Get one, learn it, master it. A handgun is your next consideration. Its primary advantage is portability. Finally, there is the rifle. A semi-automatic rifle offers greater range and accuracy. Start with the shotgun for close quarters defense. Add a handgun for personal carry, and consider a rifle for perimeter defense. A firearm is your ultimate solution, but it is not your only solution. Every confrontation does not need to end in a gunshot. Sometimes you need options that can disable or deter a threat without the finality of lethal force. High-intensity pepper spray, especially gel or foam versions, can be incredibly effective. A blast of this to the face will incapacitate an attacker, causing temporary blindness, intense pain, and respiratory distress. It buys you precious seconds to escape, to barricade a door, or transition to lethal options if the threat persists. Keep a canister near every entry point and in your safe room. Do not underestimate the power of a good melee weapon. In close quarters struggle, you might not have time to aim a firearm. A weapon you can swing is essential. A solid core aluminum baseball bat is a formidable tool. It requires no reloading and will never jam. A heavy-duty crowbar or a long, heavy flashlight can serve as effective impact weapons. The key is having something durable with reach. Keep the attacker at a distance, breaking bones if necessary, to stop their advance. Stage these tools in strategic locations throughout the house so one is always within arm's reach. Bladed weapons are a last resort. A knife fight is bloody, intimate, and unpredictable, where both parties get injured. However, you must be prepared. A large, fixed-blade knife is a tool, not a pocket folder. It can be used for utility, but in desperate struggle, it is a deadly weapon. Using a knife effectively requires getting dangerously close. It is the final-ditch weapon when grappling on the floor, fighting for your life. If you choose to carry one, get training. A knife in untrained hands is dangerous to you and your enemy. The best, less lethal weapon is a plan. Your primary goal is to avoid the fight, but if you must engage, layered options give you flexibility. Use pepper spray on a lone, desperate person, while reserving the shotgun for violent armed invasion. The situation dictates the tool. It's not about having a huge armory, it's about the right tool and training to use it decisively. Your mindset must be prepared to escalate from harsh words to pepper spray to lethal force in a split second. Hesitation gets people killed. Your weapon is only one part of the equation. The gear that supports it, and you, is just as critical. A battle belt or chest rig is essential to hold your handgun, extra magazines for your pistol and rifle, and shotgun shells. Next, you need to be able to see in the dark. A weapon-mounted light is non-negotiable. It allows you to positively identify your target. A powerful tactical flashlight is another must-have. You must also be prepared to treat injuries with a comprehensive individual first aid kit, or IFAK. It needs to contain tourniquets, chest seals, pressure dressings, and hemostatic gauze. Get the training. Finally, consider your personal protection. Ballistic body armor might seem like an extreme measure, but it is a logical one. It can stop handgun and rifle rounds, turning a fatal shot into a survivable one. Your gear is your life support system in a hostile environment. Invest in quality equipment, learn how to use it, and maintain it meticulously. Section 4. Communication is command radios and intel. In a collapse, information is the most valuable commodity. When the internet is down and the cell towers are dead, your ability to communicate and gather intelligence will determine your fate. You need a reliable, off-grid communication system. A set of quality handheld radios, walkie-talkies, is the bare minimum. They allow you to communicate with family members inside the house or with a lookout on your property without shouting. This maintains your sound discipline. Use them to coordinate movement during a threat, to report observations from different posts, and to check on your family in the safe room. Establish a simple protocol, use code words, and keep transmissions short and to the point. To gather intelligence from the outside world, you need a hand crank or solar-powered emergency radio. This device can pick up AM, FM, and shortwave bands. In the initial stages of a collapse, emergency broadcasts might still be active. Listening to these channels can provide vital information about the broader situation, potential safe zones, or military movements. As time goes on, you can use the shortwave bands to listen to other survivors, gathering a picture of what is happening in your region. Knowing the oral landscape, what you can hear, who is broadcasting, is a form of passive surveillance that costs you nothing but time and attention. If you are part of a larger group or neighborhood watch, your communication needs to be more robust. This is where amateur, or ham, radio comes in. Obtaining a ham radio license and equipment before a collapse is a force multiplier. It gives you the ability to communicate across town, across the state, or even across the country. You can coordinate with other prepared groups, share threat intelligence in real time, and call for mutual assistance. A network of trusted communicators is a powerful defensive web. It turns isolated fortresses into a coordinated defense network, sharing information on the movement of looter groups or other dangers. Your communication equipment is useless without a plan. You must establish a communications protocol. This includes designated channels, call signs, and specific times for checking in. You must also practice radio silence. The enemy might be listening. Transmit only when necessary. Use a simple code that is easy to remember under stress but difficult for an outsider to understand. Your ability to command your small unit, your family, and control the flow of information is a tactical advantage. The side that communicates better, that knows more about their enemy, is the side that wins. Do not be the one fighting in the dark. Let's talk about traps. This is a dark subject. In the old world, booby traps were illegal for a reason. They are indiscriminate. The decision to set a trap is one of the heaviest you will ever make. You are no longer just defending your home. You are actively rigging your territory to wound or kill intruders. There is a critical distinction you must make. The difference between a warning device and a lethal trap. A tripwire connected to a can of rocks is a warning. A tripwire connected to a shotgun is a lethal booby trap. I will not tell you how to build the latter. The moral and practical risks are immense. Instead, you must think of traps as tools of delay and detection. Before you set a single wire, you must have a family meeting. Everyone must know exactly where every trap is located. The greatest danger of setting traps is that you or a loved one will fall victim to your own defenses. This is a deadly serious business. Your primary goal with any trap is to buy time and create noise. Let's start with the simplest form caltrops. These can be crafted from nails driven through plywood or by welding rebar into sharp, multi-pronged jacks. Scattered in driveways, under windows, or along likely paths, they are devastatingly effective. They will puncture boots, disable vehicles, and cause agonizing foot injuries to anyone moving carelessly in the dark. The scream of a man who has just stepped on one is a better alarm than anything you can buy. They are simple, brutal, and effective area denial weapons that will make attackers reconsider their advance. Next, consider simple snare traps. Not for catching rabbits, but for catching a man's leg. A loop of strong rope, lightly covered with leaves, connected to a weight or tree branch under tension. When a foot goes through and hits a trigger wire, it can hoist the leg into the air, leaving them helpless and dangling, or simply trip them violently, sending them crashing down. The goal is incapacitation and noise. An attacker who is tangled, injured, and making a racket is no longer a threat. These traps turn stealth against them, using their own movement to trigger their downfall. Another effective tool is the punji pit, but with a non-lethal twist. You don't need sharpened stakes. A shallow pit, just deep enough to twist an ankle, is sufficient. Dig a hole about a foot deep and cover it with weak lattice of debris. When an intruder steps on it, their leg plunges downwards, likely causing a sprain. For more severe effect, fill the bottom with something foul, like animal waste. This adds biological and psychological elements. The injury is bad, but the filth is demoralizing. Finally, think about barriers. A simple trap is a door crasher, bracing a heavy object like a sandbag on an outward swinging door. When they pull it open, the object swings down and strikes them. A crude but effective way to greet unwelcome guests. All these traps have one thing in common. They are simple. They use momentum against attackers and turn silent approach into loud, painful failure. They are your silent sentinels, waiting in the dark to punish the unwary. The traps have failed. They are inside your home. This is the moment all your preparation has been for. Use the interior of your home as a weapon by creating fatal funnels, doorways, hallways, staircases. Your primary fighting position should be at the end of a long hallway or at the top of the stairs. Your family should be secured in the safe room, far from the line of fire. You are the gatekeeper. Your job is to hold this line at all costs. Nothing passes through this funnel. Engineer this space to give you the advantage. You know the terrain, they do not. The fight will be loud, violent, and terrifying. Control your breathing, your fear, and focus. You must accept a hard truth: you might lose. There are scenarios where holding the fortress is no longer possible. Staying to fight is a suicide pact. Have a pre-planned escape plan, a bug-out route. Your goal is to survive, not die defending a pile of wood. Your family is the prize. Be prepared to abandon the house to save its contents. Your escape plan needs primary, secondary, and tertiary routes. You must have multiple options. You must have a bug-out bag for every member of the family, packed with essentials for 72 hours. Everyone grabs their bag and moves to the exit point when the signal is given. The final piece is the rally point, a predetermined location where everyone will meet if separated. This plan must be practiced. When the fortress falls, your survival depends on a silent, swift, and orderly disappearance. We have covered the realities of this new world. We have walked through the steps of turning your home into a hardened fortress. We have discussed the tools, the tactics, and the mindset required to face the threat at your door. But let this be understood. Knowledge is not enough without action. The storm is an inevitability. The time for physical work, for practice, is now. Every day you delay is a gamble. This is the most serious commitment you will ever make. Skills must be drilled until they are muscle memory. You must practice until it is second nature. Complacency is your greatest enemy. The moment you believe you are completely prepared is the moment you become vulnerable. The world is now divided into the prepared and the unprepared, the survivors and the victims. They are driven by survival. To face this threat, you must be harder, smarter, more disciplined. Prepare for the absolute worst. So take this information and act on it. Every small step you take hardens your position. Do not become another statistic. The final warning: the wolf is at the door and it is starving. What you do now will determine everything. Stay vigilant. Stay ready. All the gear, all the traps, all the fortifications in the world are meaningless without the one thing that cannot be bought or built: the will to survive. This is the fire in your gut, the cold, hard certainty that you will do whatever it takes to protect your family. When the glass shatters and the screams start, it is this will that will allow you to function. You must find this within yourself now before the test comes. You must decide that you are not a victim, you are a survivor. This fight is not just physical, it is a battle for your soul. You may have to make choices that haunt you for the rest of your days. It is about becoming a guardian, a protector who understands that sometimes to defend the innocent, you must be capable of terrible things. It is about the look in your child's eyes as they hide in the safe room, trusting you completely, that you will be their shield against the storm. You will look at them, and you will find the strength to hold the line. Do not let fear paralyze you. Let it sharpen you. The world may have fallen into darkness, but within the walls of your fortress, you are the light. You are the last hope for the people who depend on you. The final brutal defense of your home will be the ultimate act of love. For in this new world, it is only the fierce, unwavering will to survive that will see you through the long, dark night.